Welcome to the Beer Channel. I'm John Starodemski, and I have here with me today actually two beers that were in the running for this review, which is actually it's not my 4,000th video review, obviously, but it is a review of the 4,000th different beer that I've tasted in my many years of beer drinking. I'm sure I've gone way past the 4,000 total beers. But I started keeping an Excel spreadsheet back in the 90s just to kind of thought it would be fun to keep track of all the different beers that I had tasted. I've got one too for all the different breweries I've been to and other things too. I'm a geek, I can't help it. But in any event, I put a post on Facebook asking folks to help me select the beer that I should celebrate this 4,000th beer with. And of course, the option is Old Stock Ale with 2009 Cellar Reserve from the North Coast Brewing Company. And I also asked if anybody felt instead I might want to consider Duvel Triple Hop Ale instead. And the winner by a vote was the North Coast. So that's the beer I'm going to go with. And that means I'm at beer 3,999 on my spreadsheet today. This will put me over the top at 4,000. Of course, while we're talking about beer by the numbers, I just got this Taco Mac shirt in the other day. This is my Taco Mac Brewniversity master's degree polo shirt, which I got for hitting 225 different beers at Taco Mac. So thanks to Taco Mac for helping me get to this 4,000 mark. Many of the new beers I tasted have been done there. I've been in Georgia for quite a while, and actually I had started a mug clubs type thing at Summit's Wayside Tavern when I lived down on the perimeter in Atlanta, and I had 100 and some beers there, and unfortunately that location closed, and so then I started going to Taco Mac. It certainly helps that I've got one right around the corner, about 3 miles from my house. But in any event, I'll stop boring you with the details, and we'll get to the Old Stock Ale. Now, Old North Coast. Their normal Old Stock Ale is a delicious barley wine as it is. I actually had to go back and review my notes. I haven't had that one in a few years, and it's actually according to my notes, it had a lot of sweet raisiny notes to it, and wasn't an overly hoppy beer, but accented malt and yeasty esters. And I did give it 5 stars, being one of my favorite beers. The Old Stock Ale is the same stuff, but it's aged for 18 months in bourbon barrels. So that should be pretty interesting. The beer it's a little pricey. I paid I think it was $23. It was $22.99, and this is not a 750. This is a half-liter bottle, so it's kind of decepting. It's sitting next to all the 750s and 22-ounce bottles. Maybe the crown cork cap completes the impression that you're getting a little bit more beer than you are, but this is really only about the same as those half-liter bottles of German beer that you see all the time. So pretty expensive, but the reviews I've seen of this beer indicate that it's pretty good, and it's worth the money. Nobody regrets it. A lot of folks say that they probably couldn't afford to buy it all the time. $23 for a glass of beer is a bit pricey, but let's see how it is. It's a special occasion after all, and I've got here. Normally, I use a beer logo mug, or glass. I'm not going to do that today. I have a brandy snifter. I'm going to go with that. So let's take off the cork. And it doesn't really want to come off that easily. There we go. There's a nice little pop. Oh, yeah. Whenever I pop a cork bottle of beer like this, I just love to go and sniff the neck. because you get all those aromas that have been building at the top, and they're just dying to come out and jump up your nose. So let's go ahead and decant. We'll give it a little more vigorous pour. Not really expecting a lot of carbonation, but I guess there's a fair amount here. Okay, that should be enough to get started. And see that dark, murky, brownish color, like a dark chestnut, a little bit of very light head, tan foam. Wow. The nose, if this beer tastes anything like it smells, then I'm in for a treat. The bourbon notes hit you right away. There's really powerful raisin and even prune notes in the nose. Maybe a hint of vanilla too. So, taking a sip, it's really incredible actually. I let it warm to room temperature. Well, not exactly room temperature. A little bit below that. I don't like to drink my beer too cold. A complex beer like this can stand up to chilling a little bit better, but you're still going to miss some of the nuances of it. And I'm getting a lot of raisin and more of the plum esters are in. They're all over the place in this beer. There's a touch of chocolate, again the vanilla, but there's really that big bourbon character to it. You can tell that it spent that time in the bourbon barrels. And this is a bigger beer than the standard. I think I might have said earlier that it's the normal North Coast, but I think this one is stronger. I think it's, yeah, this is 13, a little over 13% alcohol by volume. And you can really taste that. The almost gives it like a jet fuel type heavy alcohol warmth and burn in the finish. And I think with the notes that the bourbon barrels, maybe a little woody, but really fruity. That raisin is really predominant there. You really get the impression you're of sipping a glass of bourbon. I think that's what they're going after here, and the sweetness of the malt, the brown sugar and chocolate notes, all of those great things that the malt are giving, the yeasty esters, the raisin, and then the bourbon notes too from the barrel aging. These things all really work together well, and that's what the brewer is after when they do things like this. Nothing should predominate; they should all work together in conjunction to give you something that's better than the sum of its parts. And I think they've done that. This is an excellent beer. Definitely one of the best beers that I've had in a long time. I know it's early in 2012, but so we'll go back. It's not just one of the best beers I've had this year, but for most of last year too. Again, I think it's not a beer that I would buy every day. I don't think anybody could, but for a special occasion, this is definitely it's worth shelling the money out for maybe once a year. I can't see that anybody could afford a 6-pack of these, but that's not what it's meant for anyway. It's a great beer for slow sipping. Great this time of year. It's a little bit chilly outside. Not a beer that I would recommend with a meal, but I think it would be great after a meal as a digestif, or just with a book at bedtime, as Michael Jackson always used to say about strong, complex beers like this. So anyway, I think I'm going to give it a definite recommend, even with the price. I think you should try it. When you do, if you enjoy it, I hope you'll drop me a line, brewguru@brewguru.com. Tell me what you think. Visit my website, brewguru.com. Thank you.